Wish you all a pleasant day. I welcome you all to this English video class. 11th English, Unit 3, Part 3. The lesson name is Forgetting, written by Robert Lind, prepared and presented by Mr. Arogyaraj, English Department, Mount Zion Metric Higher Secondary School, Pudukkottai. Let us recapitulate the second part of the video about what the author says about the forgetfulness. The author is as forgetful of them as those who take them most unwillingly. What the author says is that the author was taking medicine throughout his life. We do not know what disease that he was suffering from, that he happened to take the medicines or consume the medicines throughout his life. But he became like the others, where he was unwilling to take the medicine and he forgets sometime. He also expects to get a medicine which cure all that would delight him. He forget about it as soon as the hour approach at which I ought to swallow it. Even if he has, or even if he had the tablet called cure all, he would have forgotten when the time comes to swallow it, either before the meal or after the meal, or whenever the doctor has prescribed it, he would have definitely forgotten to swallow it. Okay, he himself accepts that he too forgetful and he has a forgetfulness. Chemists make their fortunes out of the medicines people forget to take. Usually the chemists, they prescribe medicines to the patients. The patients take the medicines for 2 days or 3 days. The rest of the days they forget to take it. So automatically that becomes waste. So again their disease is not cured and they come back to the chemist or to the doctor, and the doctor prescribes again new medicines or tablets and he buys them. So this way, in this process, the chemist make their fortunes in the sense of when they earn more money, huge sums. Okay, the commonest form of forgetfulness, he suppose occurs in the matter of posting letters. When we speak about those posting letters, usually the author says that he never believes anyone. For example, most of the people, when they are reluctant or when they are neglective, when most of the people, they don't want to post the letter, in the sense when they wanted to hand over the letter to somebody else to post it. In such a way, the author is not willing to post the letter through someone or through the strangers, because he doesn't believe anyone. If they don't post it, then that would be something in critical situation. So he never believes anyone to post the letter. Suppose if he gives the letter to someone, maybe to the stranger or to his relatives, if he gives the letter to someone to post it, the author would get oath from that person that he would definitely post the letter without fail. இப்போ எல்லாருமே அப்படி தானே, ஒருத்தர் ஒரு வேலையை செய்கிறாங்க அப்படின்னா, ஒருத்தர் கொடுக்குறோம் அப்படின்னா, அதை சத்தியம் பண்ணி நம்ம வாங்கிடுவோம். ஷுவராக அவங்க செய்வாங்க அப்படிங்கிற ஒரு இதை நம்ம வாங்கிக்குவோம். தட்ஸ் வாட் தி ஆத்தர் ஆல்சோ டிட் இட் தேர். ஆஸ் ஃபார் மை செல்ஃப், எனிஒன் ஹூ ஆஸ்க்ஸ் மீ டு போஸ்ட் எ லெட்டர் இஸ் அ புவர் ஜட்ஜ் ஆஃப் கேரக்டர். And the other point of view of the author, if anyone asks the author to post the letter, before that we studied that the author does not believe anyone to ask to post the letter. But here what he says is that if anyone asks the author to post the letter, the author understands that he is a poor judging of himself, because the opponent person may not know that the author is forgetful or suffering from forgetfulness. He may fail to post it. He may fail to post the letter to the post box. He does not know. That's why he says that a poor judge of a character. I forget to post some even of the few letters that I myself remember to write. You understand now why did he say such a way? Because he himself has forgotten to post his own letters. His own letters, what he had written. He can remember almost anything except books and walking sticks. He says that whenever he goes for a traveling journey, he used to take, when he gets down from the journey, when he gets down from the train or of taxis, he will take all the things that he used there and come out. But most often, he forgets to take the books and walking sticks. These are the two things that he usually forgets to take it at the end of the journey. And also he says that he can often remember even books. புக்ஸை கூட சில நேரத்தில் நான் அதிகமாக நினச்சி எடுத்துருவேன். கொண்டு வந்துடுவேன். ஆனால் வாக்கிங் ஸ்டிக்ஸ் ஐ ஃபைண்ட் இட் குவைட் impossible to keep. Most often he forgets to take the walking stick. Wherever he goes, he takes the walking stick, but he leaves whenever he goes to his friend's house or of his relative's house or to any new place. He forgets to take the walking stick. So in a way, what happened, that walking stick have been included one among the last walking sticks. Why did he again and again buy walking sticks? The reason is that he had a wish for walking sticks of a new style walking sticks. That's why he often buys many number of walking sticks. Whenever he loses it, he gets for new one. And another important thing that he tells about his character is that he had the fear of taking umbrella, because he had the fear of losing it. Whenever he goes to his relative's house or wherever there may be, it may be, he loses the umbrella. Okay, so he doesn't take the umbrella at all. The ordinary man arrives at his destination with all his bags and trunks safe. What is the surprising thing that the author recollects is that some intelligent people have been forgetting to take their possessions when they come back. But whereas he compares with the ordinary people, some ordinary men arrives at their destination with all their bags and trunks safe without forgetting even a single thing. That's what something surprises the author and said. Another information he suggests or he tells us is that among the young people and the adult people, who are the most forgetful or who are the most forgetting people? He says that the young are the most forgetting people comparing with the adult who forget things. And another information, he says that sportsmen have the worst memories, because when the sportsmen, when they complete their game, it may be played for 3 hours or 2 hours. After that, throughout the day, they will be deeply involved in imagination. So they forget to take small prosaic things. What you mean by small things like balls and bats and other gloves, okay, other things, etc. So he says that they are the most forgetting people, because as soon as the game end, they used to recall their exploits or their errors, which means their victory and their loss. They think about the exploits in the sense of, if I had played that way, I would have got that goal. If I played this way, I would not have made that mistakes. If I had played that way, I would not have committed that mistake. So like this, they go on thinking about throughout the day and spend their time. And the author also tells about the anglers. Who are the anglers? People who go for fishing just for time pass. The anglers are said to be the most imaginative men. They're not forgetful, but they are most imaginative of men. In the sense, what happened after they are fishing, they forget to take the fishing rod and forget and come. Okay, that's what they call it. Because after fishing or after that, what happened, they will be full. Even while fishing, they used to involve in imagination. So what happened, they forget to take their fishing rod. He may forget his fishing rod as the poet may forget the post letter. The way poet forgets to post a letter, because poet, they never do such kind of things, because they are also what you call it, a full imaginative people. They will be busy with the writing, thinking and all that. The way poet forgets to post a letter, fishermen also, what you call it, anglers also forget to take the fishing rod, because his mind is filled with the matter of more glorious. The poet's mind is filled with more glorious things. So they forget to forget to post the letter. Yes, dear students, so that's the end of this second part, okay, the recapitulation of the second part. Now let us move on to the third part of the lesson, Forgetting, written by Robert Lind. Absent-mindedness of this kind seems to me all but a virtue. The absent-minded man is often man who is making the best of life, and therefore has no time to remember the mediocre who would have trusted Socrates or Coleridge to post a letter. They had souls above such things. Usually what the author says, that absent-mindedness is something good for the people. He says that it is a virtue, it is something good quality, what he says. The absent-minded man is often a man who is making the best of the life, and therefore has no time to remember the mediocre. Mediocre means what's the meaning of mediocre? Not very good, something ordinary things. He has no think about ordinary things, because the absent-minded people, they will do whatever is necessary, whatever comes to their mind at that time. They wanted to complete it perfectly. So they never think about the ordinary things. That's why they don't have time to remember the mediocre. Who would have trusted Socrates and Coleridge to post a letter? Will anyone ask Socrates and Coleridge to post a letter? You know who is Socrates? He was an ancient Greek philosopher, great thinker. He will not spend time for such small things. Okay, he'll be interested in something else to think about and write it about and speak about it. And you know what is that Coleridge? Who is Coleridge? An English poet. He is also a philosopher. Okay, distinguished for the scope and influence of his thinking about the literature. So we cannot ask these people to post a letter. They won't be doing it this one, because they will be involved in higher than these activities. That's why. Okay, so the question whether the possession of a good memory is altogether desirable has often been discussed, and men with fallible memories have sometimes tried to make out a case for their superiority. So now a question arises as to whether a low level memory proving their superiority or a high level memory proving their superiority, or also you can call that the good memory which proves their superiority. That is the question here arrives. Sometimes the men with the fallible memories, capable of making mistakes, okay, have sometimes tried to make out a case for their superiority. People who are making mistakes are not much talented, are not much highly valued people. They try to prove themselves that they are excellent, that they are high level people. A man, they say, who is a perfect remembering machine is seldom a man of the first intelligence. And they quote various cases of children or men who had marvelous memories and who yet had no intellect to speak of. What the author says that a man who is a complete memory machine, okay, who is having a full or complete memory, not a first class intelligent man. A man who is having complete memory cannot be called as an intelligent or first class intelligence, because sometimes children and or humans with wonderful memories are not even able to speak intellectually or intelligently. They have complete memory, but they fail to come and address the people. They fail to come and speak in front of the people. Then what is the use of this memory? That's what the author speaks about it. I imagine, however, that on the whole, the great writers and the great composers of music have been men with exceptional powers of memory. The author accepts and the author tells about that great writers can be of any people, okay, and also the composers of music have been men with exceptional powers of memory. They have a complete memory. The writers and the composers of music have excellent exceptional powers of memory. The poets I have known have had better memories than the stockbrokers I have known. Memory indeed is half the substance of their art. What the author says in this is that usually the poets are having a complete memory. The author says that among the poets and the stockbrokers, in his knowledge, what he says that the poets have a better memory because it is the one of the main part of or half substance of their art. Basically, and the poets used to always write. The poets always used to write very many topics based on that, and they have beautiful and excellent memories in them. And whereas the stockbrokers are not involved in such things, so it has been found somewhat lower to the poets. On the other hand, statesmen seem to have extraordinary bad memories. Here, what the author speaks about is that he speaks about skilled politicians. Okay, skillful or skilled politicians, on the other hand, seem to have rare bad memory for those people. Okay, what happens when two politicians are reminded of the same event? Everyone will say that the other person's opinion is very inaccurate and that each one has a sieve-like memory. They are not telling out the truth. They are not telling out the exact information. They have been decorating their speech. When one is speaking in the cabinet, the opponent or the other person will be criticizing that he is not at all telling the truth. He is decorating or he is modifying the incident and telling that he has not done anything and speaks. When the other one is speaking, the other fellow will criticize the same way. That's what the author says, that so in the cabinet what happened, the two politicians will never be remembering the right thing and speak the truth. That's a cabinet meet where the two leaders bring out the events in front of the authorities. The frequency with which the facts in the autobiographies and speeches of statesmen are challenged suggests that the world has not yet begun to produce ideal statesmen, men who, like great poets, have the genius of memory and of intellect combined. So, what does the author says here is that the frequency with which the facts in the autobiographies and speeches of statesmen are challenged. What does the author brings here is that autobiographies. What is autobiography? One who writes about a self. Okay, one who writes about himself or herself. That is called autobiography. The autobiographies and the speeches of statesmen, the politician's speech, are challenged in the sense what happened. Most often we find in the autobiographies of others, they don't write the exact and the reality. There is no reality in that. And also in the speeches of statesmen, the politicians speaking, there is also no the reality in this. In both, the author finds that there is no reality in that. That's why that I've been challenged to things. The world has not yet given an ideal statesman. What about ideal statesman? A perfect politician who speaks exactly what he remembers or what he has planned to. Okay, so he criticizes or he puts a false on the world, that the world has not yet given ideal statesmen. And he also says that men who, like great poets, have the genius, memory and of intellect combined. And he compares this statesman with a we regard a man who does not possess it as eccentric. The author says that good memory is found in every person. It's a common to all. Everywhere we find it, that a good memory. That we regard a man who does not possess in sort of when a man does not have a good memory, okay, we see that something strange in that person's. I have heard of a father who have offered to take the baby out in a perambulator, was tempted by the sunny morning to pause on his journey and slip into a public house for a glass of beer. So what the author has brought out one incident to tell us about the forgetfulness clearly. He narrates a story. What is that? Is that he had heard of a father. He says that about a father of a baby, when a father took his child in a perambulator just for a walk. There what happens when he happens to see the public house? What do you mean by public house here? It's a wine shop. You can also say it's a wine shop. When he sees the public house there, he was attracted towards it. He just leaves the perambulator with the baby and he goes inside to consume a glass of beer. Okay, and what happens there? Leaving the perambulator outside, he disappeared through the door of a saloon bar after taking a glass of beer or whatever that may be. After that, he did not return through the same way where he went, but he returned home through some other way. So he completely forgot about his baby in the perambulator. He disappeared through the door of the saloon bar. Just after that wine shop, there is a saloon shop. Through that saloon bar, he came out and went home. Meanwhile, at that time, a little later, his wife had to do some shopping which took her past the public house, where to her horror, she discovered her sleeping baby. When his wife came there for shopping, she happened to see the baby in the perambulator lying or sleeping there. As soon as she saw the baby, she came and took the baby and just saw the surroundings, whether who brought it or whether her husband is found or not. She was shocked to see her baby in such a situation. She discovered her sleeping baby. Okay, in the absence of the husband, she took the baby home and came back. Just she wanted to check her husband's behavior, whether he searches the baby or not, whether he finds the baby or not, whether he informs the wife. So she decided to teach him a lesson and took the baby in the perambulator. Perambulator is a clipped word, okay? A pram. We call that as a pram, P-R-A-M. It's not of P-E-R-A-M. We just put a P-R-A-M. Pram, short form of a perambulator. She wheeled away the perambulator, picturing to herself his terror when he would come out and find the baby gone. She arrived home anticipating with angry relish the white face and quivering lips that would soon appear with the news that the baby had been stolen. What the author has written is that he says that the wife, she was expecting information from her husband, whether he informs her that her baby is found missing. She expected that he would cry and she would and he would express so sad. That's what she expected of him. But what happened there? She arrived home anticipating with the angry release the white face and quivering lips that would soon appear with the news that the baby had been stolen. She thought that her husband would inform her and she would come to know that the baby is found missing. But what happened? She wheeled away the perambulator, picturing to herself his terror when he would come out and find the baby gone. She thought that when he comes out from the wine shop or from wherever she had gone, he would come and see that child is missing and he would be in a very pathetic condition, and immediately she would immediately he would inform her that the baby is found missing. That's what she expected of her husband. She arrived home anticipating with angry relish the white face and quivering lips that would soon appear with the news that the baby had been stolen. She expected that he would tell her that our baby is stolen by someone, is found missing. I do not know what to do. She expected that he would cry and he would express it in the worst way, and he would go and complain, and also he would call her to find out the baby and all that she expected. But what happened to the husband when she expected such a way? Let us see. What was her vexation? What is the vexation? Irritation or annoyance? Okay, what was her irritation is that, however, when just before lunch, her husband came in smiling cheerfully and asking, "Well, my dear, what's for lunch today?" There was a question raised by her husband. Having forgotten all about the baby and the fact that he had taken it out with him. Now you understand? Only the father had taken the child outside, and he left outside of the wine shop, and he went inside and he came through other door and completely forgot about the child. And as if he had not gone out, as if he had not taken the child along with him, he came home so cheerfully, smiling, and asked his wife, "Well, my dear, what's for lunch today?" What would be the situation of his wife? Think about that. Okay, he completely forgot about the child. So here he brings about the forgetfulness of the human being or the person. Who would ever forget the child, at least his own child? Okay, so these are the incident that happens every now and then. Okay, some pathetic condition, some tragedy like it happens. How many men below the rank of philosopher would be capable of such absent-mindedness as this? Most of us, I fear, are born with prosaically efficient memories. If it were not so, the institution of the family could not survive in any great modern city. What the author says that how many men below the rank of philosopher? It is already said that the philosopher themselves is forgetful. They are also suffering from absent-mindedness. Okay, they are great thinkers, but they too have the absent-mindedness certain times. So in that way, how many men below this rank, below the philosopher or next to the philosopher, how many people have been suffering of this absent mindedness? The author says that most of us, he says that most of the people have been having this absent mindedness. I fear are born with the prosaically efficient memories. Okay, most of us are born with the prosaically means sort of with the dull, efficient memories. Prosaically efficient memories means sort of we too forget too many things. We too have absent mindedness. If it were not so, if we do not forget anything, we do not have absent mindedness, then the institution of the family could not survive in any great modern city. If you are not forgetting of anything, then we cannot run the family, we cannot run the institution in a successful way in this modern world, in this modern city. If you are not going to forget about the little incidents, little fights between the others, then that would be something dangerous situation. So being absent mindedness is one of the positive thing. That's what already he had said. Being absent mindedness is one of the virtue. The author had already told about it. That's what that. So that's about the a lesson called Forgetting, written by Robert Wilson Lind. Okay, dear students, we can also see the chart which displays about the what the people remember accurately, exactly to the time, and what are the things that people forget to take along with them or forget to take with them, and all that is being given in a chart. You can keep it in your mind about easily to write a paragraph question, to write a short answers, or to attempt to one more questions and all this. Okay, you can just see this chart and learn about the lesson called forgetting. Okay, students, so that's the end of this lesson. We'll meet in the next video with a new chapter. Thank you.